Shalom. We're the Hebrew Israelites, and we come out every week to prophesy the downfall of this kingdom, America, which is called the daughter of Babylon in the Bible, and to teach you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans that you're the Lord chosen people, the Israelites spoken of in the Bible. We want to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'Hashem, Yahushai, Ba'Hashem, Makakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone Camp for teaching us the truth of the Bible. Peace and mercy to the brothers around the world preaching this truth.
So, start with go to Galatians chapter 4, verse 21. So I'm going to get a couple of definitions, and then we're going to start the lesson. Because last week when we were out here, we had a demon come up by the name of Tony. He was just talking all kinds of nonsense. He didn't know what culture was. He didn't know what heritage was. He was basically telling us that we were racist. That's not true. This the first definition is culture. And there's two, but I got the second one, and you can look that up on Google. The customs, art, social institutions, and achievements of a particular nation, people, or their social group. So let's talk about the customs of being an Israelite. So we got to come out here and prophesy the downfall of Babylon the Great. Oh, and this one guy, not good, but he was on my YouTube. He has a YouTube channel. He left a message on one of the videos that we did about A.A. Allen's vision of Babylon the Great, which is America being destroyed. And he said that Babylon is not America. So I asked him, where is America? I mean, I asked him, where is Babylon? Who is Babylon? Who is Edom? Because they have customs too. They have arts too. They have, Edomites have all that, but they mostly steal it. So for us, our culture is in this Bible. And then I'm going to give you the definition for heritage. So the definition is property that is or may be inherited, an inheritance, a special individual possession, and allotted portion. So just keep those things in mind. Okay, with Galatians 4:21.
This is Galatians 4 and 21. Tell me, ye that desire to be under the law, do ye not hear the law?
So right now Paul is speaking to the Galatians in Galata. It's actually Galata or Galata, one of those two. But he's speaking to them because there's also Jews there. So there was Jews there that want to be under the law. Like it says, tell me ye that desire to be under the law. So those of us that were born out of Jerusalem, or out of being in our heritage, were considered Gentiles. But there was actually people back then that still held true to their heritage, kept the customs and the arts, and had that property of Israel. But now, none of us are in Israel. There might be some remnant, but none of us are in Israel. So that's our inheritance. That's our inheritance because it's part of our heritage, and it's also our people get together, and then it becomes the people's ways or the customs. So we're not under the law, but we want to be under the law. So why is Paul saying that?
For it is written that Abraham had two sons, the one by a bondmaid, the other by a free woman.
One by a bondmaid, and the other one by a free woman. So the one that was by a bondmaid, like the story goes, Abraham was with Rebecca, And then, well, no, it was Sarah. Huh? It was Sarah. Abraham and Sarah. So Abraham was with Sarah. Isaac was with Rebecca. So, well, Abraham, his wife Sarah, she was like, in my old age, I can't have no kids. So I'm going to give my handmaiden, which is young, Hagar, which is a bondmaid, to Abraham so she can have a son. And then maybe I can have sons through him. Keep going.
But he who was of the bondwoman was born after the flesh, but he of the free woman was by promise.
Read that again. That's
But he who was of the bondwoman was born after the flesh, but he of the free woman was by promise.
so now let me get some pieces. I'm gonna go to Genesis 16 and 15. Because now it's talking about a promise. What promise? And who was that promise made to? This is Genesis 16 and 15. And Hagar bare Abram a son, and Abram called his son's name, which Hagar bare, Ishmael. So his son Ishmael, still his son, but how does the record say about the promise? Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. It doesn't say Ishmael. It doesn't say the sons of Keturah. So now let me get you another scripture. And then this is Genesis 21. Just to shed some light on this situation. Genesis 21, verses 2 and 3. For Sarah conceived and bare Abraham a son in his old age, at the set time of which Yahweh Shem Yahushai had spoken to him. So that's one thing we got to talk about. So when did God promise Abraham that he was going to have a son? When the Lord came to visit him with those two angels. So that was our Lord visiting Abraham, telling him, you're going to have a son, and this son I'm going to give the promise to. So what's the promise now? It's the inheritance, the kingdom, the whole planet. Everything, all this stuff is going to be destroyed because it's not fit for the kingdom. It's all garbage. But we got people walking around not worried about stuff, and that's fine. But there's a lot to worry about. For one, you got to worry about, are you part of this promise? These people got to worry about that. They got to worry about, are they part of this promise? We also have to worry about that, right? We worry about, are we part of this promise? So if we are part of this promise, what do we have to do to obtain the promise? Got to do the work. Got to do the work. So let me go on to the third verse. Oh, and then there's, I'm not even speaking about this yet because this is part of the promise, but you know, it's going to take us in a different direction. So Abraham had sex with Hagar and Ishmael was born. But Abraham had sex with Sarah in her old age, and they're both their old age. And because the Lord promised them that they were going to have a child, they had a child and named him Isaac. So there's two things that, well, one thing, Abraham got his name changed to Abraham. Abraham got his name changed to Abraham. So let's go to the third verse. And Abraham called the name of his son that was born unto him, whom Sarah bare to him, Isaac. So now I'm going to get something very important. It's very important. And this is going to tell you where I'm coming from. Well, it's going to tell you something, but I don't know if you can get it. Okay. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 1, verse 1. The book of the generation of Yahushua Mashiach, the son of David, the son of Abraham. Let me go back to verse 3. And Abraham called the name of his son that was born unto him, whom Sarah bare to him, Isaac. So that's the Lord right there in the reincarnation. I'm just letting you know. So now I'm going to go to Genesis, and this is all important. 17 and 16. And I will bless her and give thee a son also of her. Yea, I will bless her, and she shall be a mother of nations. Kings of people shall be of her. So that's a promise.
It's Galatians 4 and 24, which things are an allegory, for these are the two covenants. The son from the Mount Sinai, which gendereth to bondage, which is Agar.
Hagar, yeah. So that is the mother of Ishmael. So Ishmael is going to be a slave. Ishmael is going to be a slave. This is Romans 4, verse 19. And being not weak in faith, he considered his own body now dead when he was about 100 years old, neither yet the deadness of Sarah's womb. See, he already said that he was dead. He already said, how am I going to have a son at this old age? Well, that son that he had was because Yahushua promised him that son. So the son of the promise is starting to sound like that's a good deal. I wish I was from the seed of the promise. But guess what? We are from that seed of the promise. The next one.
For this Agar is Mount Sinai in Arabia, and answereth to Jerusalem, which now is and is in bondage with her children.
Did that say answereth to Jerusalem? Of course it did. So why would anybody answer to anybody? Because you're under them. When you go to work and your boss tells you to do something, you have to answer to him. Why? Because he has control over you. Just like that, we're going to have control over these nations. And we're not going to ask anybody to do anything. We're going to have slaves, taskmasters, to control the other slaves. This is Romans 4 and 20. He staggered not at the promise of Yahweh through unbelief, but was strong in faith, giving glory to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. So right here, we're giving glory to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. So everybody that goes to any building and thinks that they're safe in that building because God lives there, or because you got ashes put on your forehead, you're seriously wrong. You got a rude awakening coming. You got some missiles coming. You got martial law coming. You got sickness coming. Oh man.
Yeah, I heard running.
Because all these people in China that have the coronavirus, they got let out of quarantine, but then they're getting checked up again, and guess what? They're positive for the coronavirus, and they're still traveling, coming to America, getting on the airports, and spreading that disease, even though it's dormant. Well, guess what, man? You don't have faith, you're gonna die. Because Abraham had faith and he didn't die. I'm pretty sure Abraham's back here prophesying the downfall of Babylon. So let's talk about the good news. What is the good news? The good news is we got a promise first. we got something to look forward to. This is Romans 9:7. Neither because they are the seed of Abraham are they all children, but in Isaac shall thy seed be called. The next one, bro.
This is Galatians 4:25. For this Agar is Mount Sinai in Arabia, and answereth to Jerusalem, which now is, and is in bondage with her children.
Whoa, whose children? Her children? So these people are in bondage. We all know what bondage is. Slavery, right? So we had this this discussion with Tony. I don't know if he's around. Hell, he might be in another town begging for crumbs. But that's his lot. Everybody has a lot. Everybody has a part in the playbook. This is Romans 9:8. That is, they which are children of the flesh, these are not the children of Yahweh, but the children of the promise are counted for the seed. We're the children of the promise, because we don't have no freaking papers to prove that we're from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. We don't have no papers. What do we have? We have faith. Faith in the promise that was made maybe 5,000 years ago, 4,000 years ago. A promise that was made to our forefathers. So why are we going to get that promise? The same reason why Edomites are successful now is because they benefit from slavery. They benefited from slavery this whole time. And now we've got to benefit from the promise. See, we were promised to be gods and kings, God kings. We were promised that. But Esau was also promised something. The earth. The earth was given into the hand of the wicked. Read the next verse, bro.
Galatians 4:6. But Jerusalem, which is above, is free, which is the mother of us all.
We're free, even though we're in bondage. How does that work? Everybody must be scratching their head right now. How the heck are we free, bro? Well, tell me, how are we free when we're in bondage?
Because we got the promise.
Because we got the promise. There you go. Now, how is Esau a slave right now? He don't got no promise. He thinks he's free, but the only thing he's free to do is wicked. See, we got freedoms in Hamashiach. We got freedoms in Yahushua HaMashiach. And your life that you're living has to be filled with those experiences in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach, Son of Yahweh. Because you're living for the promise, right? Shit, I don't live to go to work. And I don't work to eat. I live to prophesy. I work so that I can have money to take care of my problems, because money is a defense, right? How many times have we heard that? Money is a defense, so I can take care of my problems, take care of my bills, so that I can have this freedom to say, I'm a child of the promise, I'm laying claim, I'm part of that seed. Verse 27. Hold on, let me get this. Romans 9:9. For this is the word of promise. At this time will I come, and Sarah shall have a son. That's something that we don't ever think about as much as we should. How on earth did this barren woman and this old geezer of a man have a baby? Not only have a baby, but that baby is the father of the promise. Well, actually, Abraham was the father of the promise. But Isaac got the promise, and Isaac wasn't the complete father of the promise, because not all of his seed got the promise. Remember, Isaac had Esau and Jacob. Now we can go ahead and say that Jacob is a child of the promise, because every child that he popped out got the promise. We got the promise. We're the seed of Jacob. We're the sons of Israel. We're the children of the promise. How you like that? We're the children of the promise. Right?
Galatians 4:29. But as then he that was born after the flesh persecuted him that was born after the spirit, even so it is now.
Read that one again. Nice and slow.
But as then he that was born after the flesh persecuted him that was born after the spirit, even so it is now.
So he that was born of the flesh persecuted him that was born of the spirit, right? Esau was one of those people born to the flesh. Ishmael was born to the flesh. Okay? And Ham was born to the flesh. Japheth was born to the flesh. Some of the sons of Shem were born into the flesh. But not the sons of Jacob. Not the sons of Jacob. This is Hebrews 12:22. But ye are come unto Mount Zion, and unto the city of the living power, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, the heavenly Jerusalem, and to an innumerable company of angels. That has to have an explanation, because that's an amazing promise. That's an amazing promise right there. Look at the next verse.
Galatians 4:28. Now we, brethren, as Isaac was, are the children of the promise.
Now we, brethren, as Isaac was, are the children of the promise. So does that promise mean that we're going to be on top in this society? No, because there's also a curse. The good side of it is a promise. The bad side of it is a curse. So we're cursed right now. Because we can get fired at any moment. The martial law can start happening at any point in time, and we'll be asked out and stuck in our home. Just imagine that. People aren't talking about that right now. Getting quarantined. What if we were at work and the fucking emergency quarantine happened? What if our children were at school and that shit were to happen? At the worst possible time where the whole family's separated. Because we got working families right now. We got fathers working, mothers working, children working, going to school. Hell, we need to all be together when shit like this happens. So how do we know that? How do we know what day to be together so that we don't get taken like that? We gotta have faith. But faith in what? Read the next one.
Galatians 4:30. Nevertheless, what saith the scripture? Cast out the bondwoman and her son. For the son of the bondwoman shall not be heir with the son of the free woman.
Man. So hey, we got that to look forward to. We're not gonna share no promise with no fucking heathens. We're not gonna share it with anybody. Read the next one.
So then, brethren, we are not children of the bondwoman, but of the free.
This is Revelation 12:2. And she, being with child, cried, travailing in birth, and pain to be delivered. But Sarah was in pain. She didn't have pains. That's the bondage we're talking about. Pains. Esau putting us in captivity and all that. The curses and all that. Read the next one. Oh, that was that one? Okay. So now let's go to, let's talk about this word congregation. Because it was culture and heritage, right? So part of that culture. Now this is where it gets tricky. You guys better pay attention. The culture goes like this. Did Jacob and Esau share the same culture? They were brought up in the same house, the same fucking way, eating the same things, following the same rules that Isaac put down, eating the same food that Rebecca was making. So yeah, they did have the same culture, but did they share the heritage? Some people would say yes, but the obvious answer is no. Okay, so now we're going to talk about congregation, and you can find this definition in the Zondervan Bible Compact Dictionary, page 116. Congregation, the Israelite people viewed in their collective capacity as God's people or as an assembly of the people summoned for a definite purpose. Can you give me 1 Kings 8 and 65? So why did we get chosen to be the children of Israel? Well, I can't really answer that. I don't know the answer to that. I don't know why I was born. Maybe it was just to take the kingdom. Maybe I was just created to take the kingdom. So we gotta work for it, right? Right?
1 Kings 8 and 65. And at that time Solomon held a feast, and all Israel with him, a great congregation, from the entering in of Hamath unto the river of Egypt.
So that was all of who? All of Israel. Read it again, that part that says all of Israel.
And at that time Solomon had a feast, and all Israel with him.
All of Israel with him. So they were celebrating a holy day. See, now that's the part where it gets into the heritage. The congregation. So the congregation doesn't really mean when you go to freaking church and do your thing in there. Because the congregation could be a group of gorillas. That's what Esau said. But Esau also said that the congregation is in a building that looks like a church. But this is the congregation. Now let's go to number 16 and 3.
Numbers 16 and 3. And they gathered themselves together against Moses and against Aaron, and said unto them, Ye take too much upon you, seeing all the congregation are holy.
Man. Read it again.
And they gathered themselves together.
Who's they? The house of Israel. Go ahead.
Against Moses and against Aaron.
So why? Because they were fucking hating. That's what Tony was doing. He was hating because we had the knowledge and he didn't have the knowledge. And he wants the knowledge, but he can't get it because he wasn't what? He wasn't chosen. Keep reading a little bit.
And said unto them, Ye take too much upon you, seeing all the congregation are holy.
Yeah, you take too much upon you. That's what these people say. Especially when they see that Moses and Aaron were chosen.
What do you guys sell?
We don't sell anything.
Oh, no? They talking
just,
about God?
Yeah.
We're just
Oh.
teaching the truth of the Bible.
So these people right here are the Lord's chosen people. They translate to these tribes right here.
Because you know about Jacob?
Yes.
Okay, Jacob, you know how he had 12 sons?
Yes.
Okay, well, these are his 12 sons right here, the names that are in the Bible.
Mhm.
But today these are the 12 sons that came from Jacob. They're actually 12 nationalities, starting from the Negroes and all the way down to the Mexicans. So these are actually the Lord's chosen people, because the people that are in the Lord's land right now, you know where that is, in Israel? Those are not the Lord's chosen people, because the people are in that land, they stole that land. You know, the real people, they got pushed out of that land a long time ago, and they got pushed over here to the Americas. So so now they're claiming that they are the Lord's chosen people. You know, because when you see the Son of God, when you see the picture, you know, what does he look like? When you look
Do
at
you
it.
have a picture?
The mouth.
No, a
The-
picture. Because there's a, when you go to church and there's a cross, who's on that cross? And what color is it?
Oh,
There's no color because no,
I
I
don't
don't
know
know.
what others.
Well, there
I'm
is-
not
there
there
is a
while
color.
he's. I don't know what. I'm not there.
So if you go
when
to
he's
someone's
there.
house and they have a picture of a so-called Jesus, what color is he usually?
Oh,
He's
why?
white.
Yeah, he's
Why?
white.
Why?
He's
Well,
white.
that is like normal
Some
color.
people
No,
they put
no.
dark. Sometimes
Yeah, but-
he's a black man.
But
Oh, the color.
the color.
okay, when
That's
the
a
Son of
color.
God,
Yeah.
when the Son of God, when he was here on earth, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he had a color, right?
Mhm.
He had a nationality. So the way the world painted him is that he was a white man and he had long hair,
Yeah,
he had
yeah.
blue
Blue
eyes.
eyes.
Right.
That happened in 1493. It was Alexander Sixtus, which was the Pope at that time. He hired Leonardo da Vinci or Michelangelo to paint a picture of his son Caesar Borgia, who looks white and looks like the picture when you walk into someone's house and they have a picture of white Jesus. That's who it is. It's not Jesus. That's Caesar Borgia. That's what the brothers tell
See,
me.
because the truth is that all throughout the Bible, the Lord's disciples, right? They wrote down what he looked like. You know, they wrote down that his feet, that they were the color of bronze, and you know what the color of bronze looks like? It's kind of like looks like a penny,
Oh yeah.
you know. And it says that his feet were the color of bronze, and that it looked like his feet were burned in a furnace. You know, so if you take the color of a penny and you burn it in a furnace, it's gonna be a little bit darker, kind of like the color of a Negro, you know. And then it also said that his hair was woolly. You know what type of woolly is? What type of quality?
Sort of like your daughter's hair, or is that your daughter? She has curly hair. She,
Yeah.